She does magic, he's a gifted inventor, and they just might be perfect for each other if they don't unwittingly destroy the world first. That's a story in All the Birds in the Sky, the book I am reviewing in this episode of SFF180. Hello everybody, Thomas here. Thank you once again so much for joining me. Now, All the Birds in the Sky is the sort of urban fantasy charmer that we used to see back in the day when the term urban fantasy would refer, you know, not to all of these, hi, I'm a sexy, hot vampire hunter, you know, that paranormal cheesy stuff. No, it would refer to the kinds of stories that were just about characters encountering danger and wonder and magic, all in the course of navigating everyday contemporary life. You know, books like, you know, War for the Oaks by Emma Bull, or Free Live Free by Gene Wolfe, or pretty much anything that Charles DeLint would have written would qualify. Now, in her debut fantasy novel, Charlie Jane Anders' gift for witty and affectionate insights into human character, and particularly the very bad habits so many of us have of being the biggest obstacle to our own success, makes the novel a non-stop parade of delights. Now, All the Birds might not have the tightest plot construction you've ever seen in your life, but you won't really notice that. What you'll take from it is an overabundance of warmth and humor and heart. As an adolescent, Patricia Delphine discovers that she can, on occasion, talk to animals, and she encounters a parliament of birds who present her with a haunting riddle that will follow her into her adulthood. Her nerdy classmate, Lawrence Armstead, who hates being called anything but Lawrence, and enjoys cobbling together such useless bits of tech wizardry as a 2-second time machine. Although it is possible that the homemade AI that he's got stuffed in his closet may one day amount to something. Both Patricia and Lawrence are, of course, outsiders among both their peers as well as their self-absorbed, status-obsessed families. Their own friendship is a little tug-of-war, both of them drawn to one another, while also pulled apart by their awareness of the social liability they present simply by being who they are. Charlie Jane possibly owes a slight debt to Rowling here, as her portrayal of the abuse and the bullying that her adolescent heroes have to put up with causes in the reader the same uncomfortable mixture of humor and distress that you probably felt reading about the Dursleys and the way they abused Harry. But beyond that, Charlie Jane's story is entirely her own, and any reader who grew up feeling alienated and ostracized from their peers will find themselves relating here in ways that a whole lot of other stories won't really let you connect with. Charlie Jane has a gift for pithy little turns of phrase, and a prose style honed by years and years in the blog trenches that is brisk and wry and very funny without being self-conscious about it. As adults, Patricia has been whisked away to a magical academy in order to train her talents, while Lawrence's geek genius has drawn him into the lightning-paced world of tech startups, where his current employer is really into wanting to build wormholes. Now, there is happily nothing Hogwartsian about Patricia's school, which instills in her a determination to do random acts of kindness for just various people, while at the same time being extremely wary of the cardinal sin of aggrandizement. Because while being young and idealistic is a good thing, sometimes it can go a bit too far. It can get out of hand, and quite often, the greatest damage is done by people who have the purest motives. Now you can see where this is going. Yes, embarrassingly, Patricia did find herself in exactly that kind of scenario during her tenure as a student, but it's only years later that the long-term side effects of the one big mistake that she and some of her fellow students made are beginning to make themselves felt, and all of humanity could pay the price. Yeah, the ending feels a little bit abrupt, and, there are certain holes in the story that I would have liked to have seen filled in. For instance, I really wanted to know more about this group called the Nameless Order of Assassins, which is actually a name, because they're just briefly mentioned one time and then they're never really heard from again. But then there are moments where you are encouraged to connect some storytelling dots yourself, a risky approach that Charlie Jane pulls off very deftly. The world that she's created here is full of masterfully subtle touches, such as the matter-of-fact way in which magic and science coexist. And yet it's the misunderstanding and suspicion that exists between the two disciplines that keeps both Patricia and Lawrence from finding a solution to the problem at hand. The story's conflict is rooted in this confusion, in the way in which Patricia and Lawrence are opposites and yet so very much like one another. How they both need and repel each other. And the way in which the two worlds they represent find it so hard to realize that what they've got to do is ally with each other, not constantly be at war with one another, if they ever hope to stop impending disaster in its tracks. Always, Patricia and Lawrence are the story's emotional center, and it's the compassion and the humanity that Charlie Jane Anders brings to both of them that is this novel's purest form of magic. And that is all I have time for in this episode of SFF180 Gang. As always, remember the most important thing, these are reviews. You will not always agree with me, but if you enjoyed watching, please hit that like button, share this video far and wide with your SFF reading friends, and above all, if you have not done so, please subscribe. That is how SFF180 grows as a channel. You will find all the relevant links in the description, and until I see all you guys next time, happy reading.